we're going live with a new stream and having a look at our trading session so far. This one is a good one so far. I'm going to review everything from the last week, what we did, what happened in between, and then put on the next trades. So the goal here is, as you can remember, going from $1,000 to $10,000 and then beyond that. We are currently, I'm going to reveal that in a moment where we are, but those are the strategies that we're using. We basically want to use scalping, mean reversion trades. We want to jump in on breakouts, momentum trades, and we want to pair trade sometimes. Things like longing Ethereum, shorting Bitcoin, and of course trailing stop losses, meaning that we put stop losses higher so that if there's some kind of reversal, we can secure some of the profits. We're mostly trading in the major category. So far, I think most of the trades were either Solana or Ethereum, with a little bit of Hype, Fartcoin, and a bunch of other stuff. But basically, those are the things here. And in this video, I'm going to trade them as well. So this is so far the situation. Let's go back to our Hyperliquid balance. The current balance is $1,780. So this is a huge up from the last point where we had $800. This is the streaming clocks. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Yep. So this is the last time and where we were. So this is going to be a revisal of that, and we're going to see where we are standing and what happened in between. So yeah, this is ongoing. So let me check a couple of things first, that the stream is really live and everyone can comment and participate, and then we're going to review all the positions. So I'm going to just check first of all YouTube and see whether it's working, but it seems fine, especially on YouTube. So going to leave it here. And then another thing is of course Twitter. So Twitter seems to be working fine as well. Let's see how it, whether you can comment, because I think comments were off last time, but I think it's fine right now. So yeah, seems to be fine. And then there's Kick and Twitch, but they usually work fine. So I'm going to not even check them. Yeah, so we're live. So first of all, we're going to revisit our previous positions that we had, what happened last time and what happened in between. So basically the last time we traded was last Monday, 1 week ago. And then a week has passed and we're going to see what really happened. So today we're going also to note that that was 18th, and we're going to note what happened and what's going to happen today. And the general reminder is that nothing here is financial advice. Crypto is risky. You can lose all your capital, especially with what I'm doing, because I'm taking some risky trades in order to make it. Because normally, if you were playing conservatively, you basically would have your P&L curve going much more steadily, much slower also. But because we want to have this kind of degenerate gains, we have to risk it a lot. So there were a couple of wins from last time, and I wanted to review those. But basically, we can go to trade history, right? You should be able to see that here. Let me check that. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Those are the trades from the last time. So we basically won on Solana quite a lot. We basically went with at 182 and sold at 192. Of course, that's not the top. But on the other hand, we had pretty loose stop losses, and I was a little bit scared that actually we go below the stop losses. I think they were at like 170, but we didn't, so that was fine. And also that was fine for a couple of other trades as well. So we are shorting Hype and we're shorting ETH a little bit with some of our trades. So it's pretty cool that actually, you know, those trades went well as well. That was previously done on stream, so that was pretty cool. And altogether we have a great P&L going to, let me just note it here. So from last session we have, I'm going to calculate it this way, we have 1782, right? 1780. So that's our total right now, and that means our P&L is the difference, which is roughly 700, right? 700, 600 618. That's the P&L from the last time, taking this, and the difference between that and that is basically 600. So this is win, and did pretty well. Good that we have tight, well, not tight, loose stop losses, as there was a lot of volatility. Definitely a thing to repeat. And also as a reminder, I'm doing the streaming logs because it's super useful to have them, because you can revise them yourself. And also if you throw them into ChatGPT, Claude, or any kind of other large language model, then you're going to get really useful stuff out of that. Basically revising your errors, suggesting new things. Really recommend that. If you're trading regularly, then definitely do it. And a final reminder, we're trading on Hyperliquid, the biggest decentralized exchange. You can use the code PCCrypto if you want to trade, so you get a discount, and we're going to share the fees, which is also cool. So PCCrypto written together is the code to use. That would also help running these streams. So yeah, we are back. We'll be looking at some of the coins and what happened in between. So let's have a look at, first of all, what happened the last time, and then try to think what we can do next. But basically, we did quite a jump yesterday, and this is a very nice scenario going on right now. So we want to be pretty fast also with some of the trades, because I think some of the action will be nice. So we bought Solana and basically also Ethereum when they were pretty down. So especially Solana, there was like 180, right? And Solana went then to 110, also thanks to this action here. Even though a lot of people lost hope around here, then suddenly move up with all the altcoins going, thanks to Ethereum, and of course all those treasury companies that are buying Ethereum, and to some extent that's going also into other coins as well. So this is what happened with Ethereum. So with Ethereum, let me just find it. Yeah, we sold it around here, right? That was our trade, and this was the closing of the short here. So we were more on the short side, even though in the end that was there's a huge long potential. So right now I'm a little bit tempted, at least for Ethereum, to go short, because I think, like, even though in the long term, I was saying that a lot, I'm definitely bullish Ethereum, but in the short term, right now after this kind of price movement, I'm more on the short side, especially that we have seen that 5,000 is really like huge mental block, and it might take a little bit of time to take it, or at least we might get a little bit down and then retrieve that later on. So on the Ethereum side, I'm a little bit more to the downside. However, there are a couple of coins that I probably want to long if I were to right now, and that's one of them is Fartcoin, which usually is a great volatility trade. We already did some money on Fartcoin, and there was already a dip. So we might do a pair trade of Ethereum Fartcoin, which is pretty interesting. Solana is cool, but 197 is not the price for me, meaning that it's in between. It can go either up and down. So I'm definitely a buyer when it's 180. Right, because it's a great price. On the other hand, I'm a seller when it's like 220 to 210. This is neither. It can go both directions. I don't know where it goes, so I'm probably not touching it this session. We can also look at what lost and gained the most. Of course, Launchcoin is very volatile, but I'm not touching that. First of all, small leverage. We want to have high leverage in order to have really decent trades. Second of all, anything can happen. It can go up, it can go down. I don't really know. On the other hand, when we look at all the trades that are losing, so of course Easy, so Kanye West coin that lost a lot, but then the huge volatility, again, not touching that. What probably is interesting from my perspective is a little bit larger coins. So things like maybe Uni, Pengu, 5x leverage, a bit smaller size. We want to mostly want 10x. But then for Pengu is pretty cool. So that might be interesting here. What else do we have? We have Aave, which lost quite a lot, right? So there was like this huge movement, basically giving away almost all the gains from the last couple of days. because we had this movement into the weekend, which was really massive. Let's again look at Ethereum, because this was mostly driven by Ethereum this time. And this was really massive, especially if you look at it, because people were really scared about Ethereum price action here, right? It went close to $4,000, right? Then Tom Lee from the fund, Bitmine, right? He came around and said, we're probably going there to 450. This is the good price. And then we're going to skyrocket to 480, which we did. So we did to 4,000, actually 4,900, close to 5,000. That was the all-time high for Ethereum. This kind of price movement here, which was pretty cool. Cool to have it here. We have new all-time high for Ethereum, which is great. But on the other hand, we probably are going down in the end, at least in the short term. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I want to place this order here in order to have it. And I'm just thinking whether I want to have tight stop losses or not. But we're going to put on the trade and then think about it. So what I want to do is I probably want to have like both Fartcoin on the long side. But then again, like if, for example, if will go down, if Ethereum will go down, then we're going to definitely see some kind of an impact on Fartcoin as well. But my thinking here is that there's definitely more road for Ethereum to go down than for Fartcoin. Now, what I did is pretty aggressive. I probably don't want to be that in the long term. That might be a short scalp. We're going to see how it behaves because ideally I want to have the liquidation price to be above 5,000. So that might be too big of a position for us right now to have it, unless we start seeing really a price movement down. On the other hand, let me see what happens if it's like if I put the stop losses at 4,750. Yeah, it's going to be pretty substantial. We can stomach that, but yeah, that's going to take us back a little bit. On the other hand, yeah, I'm not sure, in the short term at least, I'm not sure we're going to get there. So I'm thinking we might be getting, let me think what I think we end up. So for example, probably a safe spot would be something like that. A little bit more greedy. That would be probably a little bit more greedy, but still doable. Maybe something in between. So something like that. Yeah. This is so. This is probably what I'm looking at the setup. What I'm thinking about. So. Let me think whether I want to hold this position, depending on what will happen next. But if I were to guess, this is something like probably if we go above this price here, then we're going to start hitting above and above this, and this setup won't be good. On the other hand, if we keep going down, then probably we're going to go back to the previous levels, and the previous level is basically around this 4,300. Which is a good spot to just stop the trade. So we're going to see how it goes. Let me think about it. I'm going to just look at the different comments. Just let me answer some questions. Yeah, so just answering a couple of questions. So yeah, ideally probably this would be the only trade, and maybe if I want to hedge it to some extent, depending on what will happen next, maybe we can take this long on Fartcoin. because actually Fartcoin is already at the levels that were pre-weekend. So in a way, the pump already was, went back and we could long, but let's see what happens. I mean, we're going to see how this trade will do. Yeah, let me check Sol. Yeah, I mentioned Solana before, that basically this is the level that more I would be going on the short side, but to be honest, it can go both ways, and this is not the level that I feel like right now to either long or short. But yeah, I probably would also, if I were to take a trade right now, it'd probably be more on the downside, and with similar bounds as for Ethereum, meaning that I would short here with probably like stop losses just a little bit above like 201 maybe, and then with take profits around this. Yeah, the safe side would be 158, right? Previous levels. More greedy would be 180. If we were to be more greedy, but this is what I would take. Maybe I would still take it in this session. I still want to check, like what will happen with Ethereum, because right now Ethereum is one of the leading indicators in this market, thanks to those different treasury companies that are doing, well, a lot of buying. Of course, we have Bitcoin as well as one of the indicators, but right now there's a lot of correlation in the market, and as you can see, actually Bitcoin already it's down to the previous levels, so it didn't pump that hard as Ethereum during the weekend, if you compare the movements, and it basically returned to the review to the levels pre this weekend, where both Ethereum and Solana has still a little bit way of going, so I would definitely be more on the short side here, especially that Ethereum has this huge movements. But of course, those huge movements are coming from the TradFi, which still means we can definitely get blown out on these trades, because there might be more buying along the way. So, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and this is what I would like to, for the take profit, as you can see, I'm pretty much on the upper bound of the previous levels, so I think this is pretty safe. Good risk reward, I would say. Let's see how it behaves. If there's like anything, if there's anything then crazy happening up or down, we can adjust the position. But so far it's looking okay, pretty stable. I would expect this to basically go like something like this, probably, if I were to guess. But there's always a chance, of like kind of the reversal that we go like that. But who knows? Usually this kind of movements, I mean, Ethereum is a massive asset, so you don't get, sometimes you get this massive volatility bursts like here, but this is caused by, usually you know why, because there's some kind of whale buying or selling, or maybe there's some kind of news that people get super excited. Like, for example, there's $10 billion along on the lines for buying, but usually this is much more stable. Yeah, I'm going to play with this. I think this is a pretty pretty cool. Also, out from the other news, if you want to check it, this is what I'm looking at. So there was this huge story of this Bitcoin OG whale that actually basically sold like, I think, $2 billion altogether, 2.5, which is absolutely crazy. He did all of that on Hyperliquid. So this is also answering a question whether Hyperliquid is safe, that I got on YouTube. So far, Hyperliquid is super safe. Of course, this is a decentralized exchange. There's always risks with different hacks and different smart contracts and so on. But the team behind Hyperliquid is very, very well respected within the community. So far, they've been doing everything amazingly well. And also there are more and more people coming to the exchange because you can do stuff like that, which is very hard to, well, you can do that also on smaller exchanges, on centralized exchanges, maybe not smaller, like Binance, Bybit, or a couple of others. So things like basically going with Bitcoin, depositing Bitcoin natively, and then changing that to Ethereum also natively on the spot. So not with longs or shorts, not with leverage, not on futures. So this is really cool. This is thanks to Hyperunit. This is a separate team, but they're collaborating closely. But anyway, this is for bringing different assets on spot, and where you can find it is actually going on Hyperliquid, choosing spot here. If you sort by market cap, then especially those things without the market cap are the external things, and you have things like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, USDT, Pump.fun, Coin, Fartcoin, and a bunch of others, which is pretty cool. They tend to add also new stuff, so it's really cool that you can deposit those stuff on Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid this way is growing really fast. So I think this is really cool. Here Anshrana is talking about BitGet and how that they have high fees. I think Hyperliquid has better fees than BitGet. You should check that. I think they have really good fees, generally speaking. We can definitely check like what kind of fees I'm paying right now for this position. Yeah, this is basically I'm paying $8 for that, for 25x leverage position of $20,000. That's the size on $800 margin. So yeah, so this is the position. I think this is cool. I mean, probably we're going to run with this one. If we lose it, we're still going to be profitable on the whole account. It will basically lose like $600, $680 maybe. If we win that one, we're going to be in 3,000 territory, which is already great. And from 3,000, we can go much higher. But of course, we have to take more risks. So it's going to be definitely fun. So look on chain is one thing that this is a cool profile on Twitter. If you didn't know that, you can definitely have a look. They try to analyze different smart wallets, so I think that's pretty cool. Other stuff that I'm checking out is coinmarketman.com hyper tracker. They have really cool charts for different cohorts. They define the cohorts by how much capital particular people have. You can check that here. So you have Leviathans with over $5 million on Hyperliquid, tidal whales, small whales, apex predators, dolphins, fishes, shrimps, and then you have cohorts by how much PNL they have. So sometimes being a Leviathan doesn't mean that you're profitable, because you can be giga-wrecked with over $1 million in losses. But if you look at what people are doing, which are money printers, this is one of the things that are worth checking, then those people have massive wins altogether. For example, one of the guys I was talking last week, I think, was the White Whale. He got the tweeting quite a lot, and he's doing pretty good. We can have a look at what he's doing. He's mostly on the long side, so he's not shorting much. He's mostly on the long side, and he's doing really cool stuff. You can have a look at what his PNL is from Perps. Super volatile, as you can see as well. So he was like small up, then he started to take like bigger and bigger swings, and he was like 30 million up, then went down to like 2 million PNL, which is still good, and then massive upwin, and then much down, and then again massive win, a little bit down right now, but altogether he's $17 million in profit, which is really amazing. And you can see his position live. So this is the power of Hyperliquid. This is the power of Hyperliquid. Really you can see all the people what they're doing, because it's on blockchain, so all the positions are transparent and you can see live what they're doing. So yeah, I'm sometimes shorting, but I think like usually you can win much better with longing, because in the end those markets tend to be super volatile, and if you can get the momentum, of course, right. But here you can see we are a little bit positive, sometimes we're negative, but generally speaking, it's around this place. So we're going to probably leave it for now. I think this is a good position to enter. I mean, we can definitely go up, we can go down, but I think like there's a bigger chance of going down. And this is what trading is about, trying to define your chances, seeing how big of the position you want to take, and then to have really clean up and down, you should define this bracket. So brackets meaning you have the stop loss, you have the and you have take profit, and then you have very clean scenario. Of course, on streaming I have to do it because I won't be streaming for 24 hours in order to see all the positions. That's of course tempting to do at one point, but I will probably leave the position and just come back on the next streaming session. And by the way, the streaming session is every Monday and Friday, or at least I'll try. If it happens on Monday on Friday, you don't have to look the other days. I'm streaming only Mondays and Fridays because that's the most of the fun is. Mondays is mostly after the weekends that you have either weekend dumps or weekend pumps, and then on Monday we're trying to reverse that. On the other hand, on Friday there's a lot of shenanigans going on into the weekend, so also cool time to be around. So yeah, those are the two things. I'm going to note the website if you want to for this hyper tracker, if there are any questions. So the link will be in the notes. Let me put it here. Watching whilst at. So this is the. This is the thing. Yeah, Ansh is asking for a daily stream. I'd love to, but for now I'm, like too many things going on. I would have to, and those usually like streaming sessions usually take a lot of time for me to prepare, make sure that I know what I'm doing. And also sometimes there's really nothing to do, really, because you really have to basically just wait for the good moments, and that's why I'm saying like Monday and Friday are good, but usually this is like you should do nothing most of the time. You should really just define, like, wait for the good spot for entry for you, and then wait for even longer. To be honest, we probably could do this kind of challenge of like 10xing your account if we have more patience. I mean, I don't have as much patience to do it, and probably it wouldn't make a great trading session for streaming, but to be honest, the best results will be just sitting on the position for longer. And if you look for example at this guy, at this white whale, then basically this is what he's doing. I mean, probably we can see, let me check whether we can see when he was entering the position exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's not. Well, you can take his address and probably go to Hyperscan or like some other kind of decentralized exchange. But you can see usually how long he's. I'm trying to see whether. Yeah, I have to log in to see the age. I'm not logged in right now, but I think the login is free. I mean, you just have to log in with your wallet. So we'll probably see how long he's actually holding the position, because but looking at the funding, it seems that he's holding that for a little bit of time, especially for example Solana. I think, like, I remember he had that position for definitely for longer. You can see that he was holding that. Yeah, he was actually buying that probably the same time I did my buys of Solana, because he entered at 183 for Solana. Well, that's spot. We want to go to Perps. So for him to enter at 183, he basically had to go like at least like last week, right? He had a couple of entries here, but he might be doing that even before that. This is good to actually look at, like some of the ways, because you see the massive conviction of people that are riding the P&L and how they're adding to the positions, which is also great. There are like different strategies that you can learn if you wish to study that. What they're doing. So I think that's really cool to have a look at. Yeah, so basically that's it. We're basically looking at this Ethereum position. I'm probably going to let it ride. For now, I think this is good. Again, probably not going to enter Fartcoin as well, because, well, longing Fartcoin would be hedging in this case, but probably I don't want to hedge that much. But maybe let me check. I mean, we could do stop losses at like 0.8. let's see what we do if we like put a small fart coin position. Or maybe even, you know, like tighter stop losses of like 0.83. And then yeah, maybe something like that. This is yeah, probably 98 would be better. Yeah, I mean, I like Fartcoin here. The only problem is that I probably I don't know how loose of a stop loss I want to put in. But maybe, let me see what will be the difference if I change that to 0.8. Yeah, I think it's still fine. Yeah, I think, okay, I'm going to write Fartcoin. The reason for that is that I just started thinking in a process that the risk to reward ratio is pretty cool. I think like usually Fartcoin doesn't go that much below 0.8. Of course, always anything can happen because basically it already gave away all the wins from the weekend. On the other hand, we can play with much smaller capital here. So our loss won't be much like very large. If we really go below that, but if we go that much, then it means that something also happening to Ethereum, so we should be winning on the Ethereum side. So that's the logic here. Of course, as always with two positions, it means that we can lose on both if we go up a little bit and then down a little bit, or like down a little bit and then up, meaning we won't hit both of them, but probably worth trying them. So yeah, this is what I'm probably going to go with. So let's note that thing, and probably this is what I'm going to stay with. So if short ongoing and we have Fartcoin, Fartcoin as a hedge, as a small hedge to ETH long. Risk reward. Yeah, so I think this is fine. I mean, in like the worst case, I also believe like if I'm wrong on ETH, then probably the wins from the Fartcoin would basically even out the losses from Ethereum. So we should be probably at the same level. Won't be super cool, but yeah, this is what can happen. Remember, probably the next stream will be Friday or next Monday. So this is where we're going to come back to the position and see whether we have anything, whether anything interesting is happening here. And of course, in the meantime, a lot can happen. Like, on the other hand, you know, like when September comes, it can be a dead month. This is what people are saying. But there were also Septembers with a lot of action. A lot of it depends on the macro. And I think like right now we're living in a world where macro is really important. A lot of things are happening around the world, but also in the US. And the US, of course, dictates what happens around the world to some extent. So it can go both ways. So this is one thing that I want to check. Let me also, so let me have that. Let's see whether I have anyone. Whether other streams are working fine. But if yes, then probably this is what we're going to stay with. Let me just check. I'm just checking whether we have all the streams running correctly, but if yes, then this is basically the I think the moment where we leave it, and we're going to stay with that position, and we'll see how it will go. Yep, I think we're fine. So yeah, again, follow me on Twitter, YouTube, or any other place that you're watching it right now. Usually streams are Monday and Friday, or one of them. The goal is to go to 10,000 from 1,000. We are basically at 1,700 right now. But of course, we have to take risky trades in order to do it. So we can as well blow up the account. So nothing here is financial advice. Crypto is risky. You can lose all your capital. If you're planning to use Hyperliquid, you can use my code for it, PC Crypto, written together, and it's going to give you discounts on fees, and fees on Hyperliquid are great anyway, so you're going to just pay less for different trades. And generally speaking, Hyperliquid is really amazing when it comes to trading, super fast, and they have quite a lot of different assets. So yeah, thank you for watching. We're going to revise that position later on and see how it goes. I think it's pretty cool. We're in a good spot. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next streaming session.